Before we can truly change ourselves, we need to understand the problem we face. Arrogance is like a shadow that quietly grows in our hearts without us noticing. It makes us feel better than others and blinds us from seeing our own mistakes. But what if I told you that this feeling is not just harmful to our relationships and our peace of mind, but also blocks us from the mercy and blessings of Allah? Today, we will explore practical and easy steps to protect ourselves from arrogance. This is not just advice. It is a path to a better life, a softer heart, and a closer connection with Allah. When we learn to avoid arrogance, we open the door to true happiness, success, and respect from others. This topic is very important because arrogance is one of the reasons people lose their way, but humility can guide us back to the right path. So let's dive into how Islam teaches us to walk humbly and live peacefully in this world and the next. 1. What does arrogance mean in Islam? Arrogance is one of the most dangerous qualities a person can have, and in Islam, it is strongly warned against. But what does arrogance really mean? Many people think arrogance is just about being proud or confident, but it is much deeper than that. Arrogance in Islam means feeling that you are better than others, that you deserve more respect, or that you are more important. It is a kind of pride that stops a person from recognizing their own mistakes and makes them treat others unfairly. When a person is arrogant, they look down on others. They believe they are always right and that others are somehow less valuable. This feeling creates distance between people and breaks the bonds of kindness and brotherhood that Islam encourages. Arrogance pushes people away from the truth because they refuse to listen or accept advice. This quality is harmful not only to the person who has it, but also to the entire community. It makes people selfish and cruel. In Islam, humility is the opposite of arrogance. Being humble means understanding your place in the world, knowing your strengths and weaknesses, and always remembering that everything you have comes from Allah. When a person is humble, they are open to learning and growing. They treat others with respect and kindness, even if they are different or have less than them. Humility opens the heart to love and compassion. The reason Allah warns us against arrogance is that it blinds the heart and mind. It makes people forget their duties toward Allah and other human beings. Arrogance is like a heavy burden on the soul, preventing it from feeling peace and joy. Instead of feeling grateful for the blessings they have, an arrogant person becomes proud and selfish. This pride creates conflicts in families, workplaces, and communities. It is important to remember that Islam does not discourage confidence or self-respect. In fact, it encourages us to believe in ourselves and use our talents for good. But this confidence must be balanced with humility. A true believer knows that all success comes from Allah, and without His help, nothing is possible. This understanding keeps the heart humble and free from arrogance. One way to reflect on arrogance is to think about how we treat others in daily life. Do we listen patiently when someone else speaks? Do we try to understand their feelings? Or do we interrupt and dismiss their opinions because we think we know better? Arrogance shows in small actions like refusing to apologize or blaming others for mistakes. It shows in how we speak and how we behave toward those around us. In a world that often values power, money, and status, it is easy to fall into arrogance. But Islam teaches us a higher standard. The Quran calls us to be gentle and humble, to lower our voices, and to walk softly on the earth. This does not mean weakness. It means strength under control, kindness in action, and respect for every human being. When we follow this path, we become better people, better Muslims, and better friends and family members. We create peace in our hearts and in our communities. We attract people not because we force them to listen, but because we earn their respect through good character. 2. How does arrogance affect us? Arrogance is not just a bad habit or a small mistake. It is a destructive force that affects every part of a person's life. When arrogance enters the heart, it creates problems inside the soul and outside in the world around us. It stops us from growing, learning, and connecting with others in a positive way. Understanding how arrogance affects us is important because it helps us recognize it early and choose to live differently. First, arrogance creates a barrier between us and others. When someone feels too proud or too important, they stop seeing the true value in other people. This feeling makes it hard to listen to others or accept help. Instead of working as a team or being humble enough to ask questions, an arrogant person often isolates themselves. This loneliness comes from pushing people away. The more arrogant a person becomes, the fewer friends and supporters they have. It is like building walls around the heart that keep out kindness and love. In families, arrogance can cause distance and misunderstandings. A person who thinks they are always right will argue and refuse to see the feelings of others. This attitude hurts relationships because respect and understanding disappear. Even small disagreements become bigger when pride takes control. It makes forgiveness difficult, and it can cause long-lasting pain among loved ones. Islam encourages us to keep family ties strong and to treat relatives with mercy. Arrogance works against this beautiful teaching and brings sadness instead. Arrogance also affects our mental and spiritual health. When pride fills the heart, it blinds the mind from truth and wisdom. Arrogant people often refuse advice or reject reminders because they believe they know everything. This attitude stops personal growth. Instead of learning from mistakes or improving character, arrogance makes a person stubborn and stuck. This limits their success and happiness because no one can truly grow without humility. Spiritually, arrogance is a serious obstacle. It distances a person from Allah. When we are proud, we forget that all power and knowledge belong to Him alone. We become self-centered, thinking that we do not need anyone or anything. But this is not the way of a true believer. Arrogance can also blind a person to their faults. When we think too highly of ourselves, it becomes hard to admit mistakes or accept responsibility. This is a dangerous trap because only by recognizing our weaknesses can we improve and ask Allah for forgiveness. An arrogant person may never ask for help or mercy because they believe they are perfect. This pride prevents the soul from healing and growing closer to Allah. Another way arrogance harms us is by damaging our reputation. People tend to avoid those who are arrogant because pride is unpleasant to be around. No one enjoys dealing with someone who looks down on others or always wants to prove they are better. Over time, arrogance can cause a person to lose respect in their community, at work, and among friends. This loss of trust and respect is hard to fix once it happens. Arrogance also blocks true success. Many people think success means being powerful, rich, or famous. But true success in Islam is based on good character and closeness to Allah. When pride fills a person's heart, they may gain temporary worldly power, but they lose inner peace and the blessings of Allah. Success without humility is shallow and will not last. Moreover, arrogance makes a person forget gratitude. When pride enters the heart, people stop thanking Allah for their blessings. Instead, they believe everything is because of their own effort. This is a dangerous attitude because it turns the heart cold and ungrateful. Gratitude is a key to happiness in Islam, and arrogance blocks this door. In daily life, arrogance shows in small but harmful ways. It may appear when someone interrupts others, refuses to say sorry, or mocks someone's opinion. These actions may seem small, but they build a pattern that harms relationships and destroys respect. Islam teaches us to lower our voices and be gentle in speech, because harshness and pride push people away. The good news is that arrogance can be overcome. By remembering Allah's greatness and our own limitations, we can soften our hearts. By seeking knowledge and listening to others, we open ourselves to wisdom. By practicing gratitude and humility, we find real happiness. The path away from arrogance leads to peace, success, and strong relationships. 3. The beauty of humility in Islam. Humility is one of the most beautiful qualities a person can have. It is like a soft light that brightens the heart and brings peace to the soul. In Islam, humility is not just a good trait. It is a powerful way to live that connects us deeply with Allah and with the people around us. When a person is humble, they do not feel the need to prove themselves or look down on others. Instead, they understand their place in the world and recognize that everything they have is a gift from Allah. Humility means knowing your strengths and weaknesses without exaggerating or shrinking from the truth. It is the ability to accept yourself fully, while also being open to learning and growing. A humble person does not compare themselves with others to feel better or worse. Instead, they focus on their own journey and try to be the best version of themselves by pleasing Allah and helping others. Humility is also connected to wisdom. A humble person understands that they do not have all the answers. They listen carefully, accept advice, and are willing to admit mistakes. This attitude opens the door to continuous learning and self-improvement. Without humility, a person's knowledge and talents become useless because pride blocks the heart from growing. In social life, humility builds strong and beautiful relationships. When we are humble, we treat others with kindness and respect, regardless of their status or background. We do not judge or insult, but instead, we show patience and forgiveness. This behavior attracts people and creates a community based on love and trust. Islam teaches us that the best among people are those who are most humble and gentle. Humility also protects us from many problems. When a person is humble, they avoid conflicts caused by pride and ego. They do not feel the need to prove themselves or win every argument. Instead, they focus on peace and harmony. This makes life easier and more joyful for themselves and those around them. Many times, people confuse humility with weakness. They think being humble means being shy, quiet, or unable to stand up for themselves. But this is not true in Islam. Humility is a form of strength because it takes courage to lower the ego and accept truth. It is the strength to be patient when others insult or ignore us. It is the power to forgive instead of seeking revenge. Humility means controlling the self, not letting the self control you. When we look at the natural world, we see many examples of humility. The mountains stand tall, but do not boast. The rivers flow quietly without noise. The trees provide shade without asking for anything in return. This is the way of Allah's creation, and humans are asked to follow this humble example. When we humble ourselves, we live in harmony with nature and with each other. Humility also helps us to stay connected to Allah. When we realize how small and dependent we are, we turn to Him with love and trust. We ask for His guidance, mercy, and forgiveness. This relationship brings peace to the heart and light to the mind. A humble heart is never proud because it knows that all blessings come from Allah alone. In our daily lives, practicing humility can be simple. It can begin with small actions like listening more and speaking less, helping others without expecting praise, or accepting feedback with an open heart. These small steps change our character and bring us closer to the beautiful way of Islam. Choosing humility is a choice for happiness and success. It frees us from the heavy weight of pride and anger. It opens the door to forgiveness, love, and mercy. It makes us better friends, better family members, and better servants of Allah. The beauty of humility in Islam is not just a lesson, but a path to true greatness. It shows us how to live peacefully, love deeply, and serve sincerely. When we humble ourselves, we shine with the light of Allah's guidance, and our lives become a beautiful example for others to follow. 4. Practical steps to avoid arrogance. Arrogance is a dangerous feeling that can quietly take over the heart and mind if we are not careful. But the good news is that it can be controlled and removed through simple, practical actions every day. Islam does not leave us lost in this struggle. Instead, it guides us with clear advice to protect ourselves from arrogance and to live with humility and kindness. By following these steps, we can build a strong character that pleases Allah and benefits ourselves and those around us. The first step to avoid arrogance is to remember who we truly are. It is easy to forget that every person is a creation of Allah, dependent on His mercy and power. When we remind ourselves that all the blessings we have, our health, talents, wealth, and knowledge, are gifts from Allah, we feel more grateful and less proud. This awareness helps us stay humble because we understand that without Allah, we have nothing. Learning from others is also a powerful way to avoid arrogance. When we listen carefully to advice and stories from people with more experience or wisdom, we open ourselves to new ideas and corrections. Arrogance stops learning because it thinks it already knows everything. But a humble person knows that there is always room to grow. In the life of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, we see how he accepted advice and welcomed questions. This openness brought blessings and success. Helping others is another practical step that softens the heart and removes pride. When we serve those in need without expecting praise, we remind ourselves that we are not better than anyone else. Acts of kindness, no matter how small, connect us with the feelings of others and increase our empathy. Serving others also shows gratitude to Allah by using our blessings to help His creation. Giving charity, volunteering, or simply offering a smile to someone are ways to practice humility in everyday life. We should also be careful with our speech to avoid arrogance. Words can build people up or tear them down. When we speak with kindness, respect, and without boasting, we reflect humility. It is important to avoid showing off knowledge or achievements just to impress others. Instead, we should speak softly and listen more. The Quran praises those who respond gently, even when others speak harshly. This calm behavior is a sign of a humble heart. Surrounding ourselves with good company can protect us from arrogance. Friends who remind us of our values, encourage humility, and advise us when we act proud are gifts from Allah. Good friends help us stay humble by reflecting our behavior back to us and guiding us to better actions. On the other hand, company that praises arrogance or encourages pride can harm us. Choosing the right people to be around is an important step in this journey. Remembering the day of judgment is a powerful way to keep arrogance away. On that day, everyone will stand equal before Allah, and no pride or wealth will matter. Thinking about this moment helps us stay humble in this life because we know that true success is in pleasing Allah, not showing off to others. The Quran reminds us that worldly pride is temporary and will be replaced by justice in the hereafter. When mistakes happen, humility shows by accepting responsibility without blaming others or making excuses. An arrogant person hides faults or blames others, but a humble person faces mistakes with courage. Admitting faults opens the door for forgiveness and improvement. Avoiding arrogance is not difficult if we take these practical steps sincerely. By remembering our dependence on Allah, reflecting on ourselves, learning from others, helping those in need, controlling our speech, choosing good company, preparing for the day of judgment, accepting faults, and praying for guidance, we build a strong shield against pride. These actions open the heart to humility and peace, and bring us closer to the beautiful way shown by Islam. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, avoiding arrogance is a key to a peaceful heart and a strong relationship with Allah. If this message touched your heart, please like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to Deen Explorers for more inspiring content.